Woman has one plus one rule at her wedding. Married couples or long term partners she actually knows. Simple, reasonable. And her husband's childhood friend rolls up to the reception with a whole new woman nobody has ever met in their life. So, what does the bride do? She sends a bridesmaid, not herself, a messenger, to politely inform this total stranger that she needs to Uber back to the hotel on the spot, mid reception. And now, weeks later, the husband's still mad. The friend's ghosting all his texts. She's the one on Reddit asking if she's the problem. Be honest, if a plus one showed up to your wedding that you'd never met in your life, are you sending them home or are you letting it slide? Stop your gut reaction because we are reading this whole thing and there's a twist you didn't see coming. I'm Phil. Let's pull back the curtain and challenge the logic here. Dissecting the raw truth line by line exactly as it was told by our narrator. My husband and I, both 27, got married a few weeks ago, and he obviously is still upset about it, but I don't think I was wrong. So I thought I would ask here. We only gave plus ones to married couples, or if we knew the SOL. My husband has one child friend that was coming from out of state to attend. I have met a bunch, but only his girlfriend of 3 years a few times because of the distance. Okay, right off the bat, this is not a random, chaotic, no plus ones ever wedding. This is a reasonable policy. Married couples or partners you actually know. That's not bridezilla behavior. That's basic guest list math. Every wedding has a budget, and every seat is a receipt. If I had $1 of every wedding that got derailed by someone's plus one, I could afford my own venue. Objection, Your Honor. I need this on the record. This bride had a rule. She wanted uh, to state it clearly. This is not a woman who's about to lose her mind over nothing. This is a woman with a spreadsheet, and spreadsheets do not lie. A wedding guest list is a legal document, and I will die on this hill. Be honest, have you ever had a plus one rule at an event and immediately regretted making an exception? Comment below. We are building a case here. Let's follow the train wreck further. I didn't want to give him a plus one, but my husband begged since he was traveling and didn't know anyone else at the wedding, and he didn't want him to be uncomfortable or have to travel alone. I said, fine, just to make him happy. And here is it is. Here is the moment. The husband begged for an exception, and she said yes to make him happy. Not because she knew this girlfriend well, not because it made sense, because he asked nicely. Yeah, the whole plot twist waiting to happen right there. I said fine, just to make him happy is the sentence right before every regret in human history. Sir, you begged for this exception on behalf of a specific named 3 year girlfriend. You did not beg for uh, whoever my buddy is dating by the time the wedding actually happens. That is a different plus one, and you know it. An exception made for one specific person is not a blank check for whoever shows up next. Moving right along, folks. Flash forward to the reception. I see him with some girl I have never seen before. I asked husband what was up, and he told me that his friend and his GF broke up a few days before the wedding, and since he already RSVP'd as two, he brought a friend with him. I was pissed since I made an exception for him, and I didn't want anyone random at my wedding. I had one of my bridesmaids go to him and tell him he could stay, but Can his date please go back to the hotel? This is a private event. Okay, wait, hold up. A friend broke up with his girlfriend days before the wedding, and instead of going, yes, I fly solo now, he just swapped her out like a trading card. He RSVP'd as two, so he felt entitled to bring a two, any two, random two. Sir, I already RSVP'd these as two is not a coupon. It doesn't transfer to a new person like a gym membership. Objection, Your Honor. The friend is treating a wedding seat like a Ticketmaster resale. That seat was for a specific person the bride wedded. You can't swap it day off for a plus one she's never met at a private event with zero warning. Wedding invite is not a seat you get to re-gift. Drop a 1 to 10 in the comments. How unhinged is bringing a totally new date to someone else's wedding without even a heads up text? It's time for the next disaster. He said, okay, didn't make a fuss, but he left with her and didn't come back. I thought on everything was fine and had a great night. My husband found out about it the next day and we got in an argument. He's mad because his friend traveled and I kicked him out without talking to him. I didn't kick him out, just his date. Okay, so notice the friend didn't make a fuss. Said, okay, left no drama, no scene. He clearly understood the assignment. Is the husband finding out a full day later who decided to turn this into a marital crisis? Nothing says I wasn't even there for the argument, like starting 124 hours late. Sir, you keep saying she kicked him out. She did not kick him out. She kicked out a woman neither of you had ever met at your wedding that he brought without asking anyone. That's not eviction, that's quality control. I didn't kick him out, just his date is the most technically correct sentence in this entire story. Next step in the circus. Now, it's a few weeks later, my husband still bring it up from time to time, and his friend hasn't been answering his text. I kind of feel bad, but it was my wedding, and I didn't want any stranger there. Weeks later, husband still bringing it up like it's a season-long storyline, and the friends out here ghosting text like he's the wronged party. And he's the one who brought a rando to a private event with zero warning. Sir, if you are gonna ghost somebody over this, ghost the plus one policy you clearly never read. Your Honor, let the record show the bride made a reasonable rule, made an exception out of love, got that exception exploited within days, handled the correction quietly through a bridesmaid instead of a scene, and is still apologizing for it weeks later. I rest my case, and frankly, I'm exhausted on her behalf. You don't get to swap the guest and keep the invite. Comment the emoji that sums up how you feel about a grown man ghosting his best friend over a seating chart. All right, final verdict time. And I have got layers on this one. ESH. And here's my unfiltered breakdown. The bride is not the villain. She had a clear rule, made a generous exception, and when that exception got swapped out for a total stranger day off, she handled it absolutely as gracefully as anyone could. Lightly, through a bridesmaid, without making a scene. That's not cruelty, that's a crowd control. But sending a middleman instead of having her husband pull his own childhood friend aside for a 2-minute heads up, That's where a little grace got lost. And the friend, brother, you do not treat an RSVP like a fast pass that transfers to whoever's free that weekend. And the husband, weaponizing this into a weeks long grudge instead of just calling his friend and explaining it like an adult. Everybody get a little bit sauce tonight. One sentence recap for the group chat. A guy broke up with his girlfriend days before a wedding, brought a totally new date anyway, got politely sent home, and somehow he became the victim of the story. Okay, comment your verdict. NTA, YTA, or ESH? Let's see where the room lands. And tag the friend who has definitely tried to swap a plus one last minute like this was a fantasy football trade. And if that friend is watching, sir, the invite said to specific people, not field goal range. Whole story? Share your experience privately via the Google form linked in the description and pin comment. Submissions are strictly anonymous and may inspire an upcoming episode. If you are into these breakdown, go ahead and subscribe because I do this every week. See you in the next one.